That's great. That's beautiful.
We're back with our buried lead. That's what we call stories we think deserve to get more attention than they have gotten. We want to take a moment to dive in a bit to that peace deal that President Trump celebrated at the White House on Friday. It's a deal between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. Before that Oval Office show and tell, the foreign ministers actually signed documents earlier in the day at the U.S. State Department with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The goal was to end more than 30 years of conflict that dates back to the 1994 Rwandan genocide, when hundreds of thousands were killed in the span of just 100 days. Now, in 2025, since January alone, the Democratic Republic of the Congo reports the conflict between the two nations has killed more than 7,000 people and displaced 1 million others. Again, that's just since January. Friday's peace deal calls for the two nations to do things such as respect each other's territories, refrain from any acts of aggression against the other, facilitate the free movement of civilians and humanitarians, to try to stop armed groups from engaging in hostile acts, and to stop any state support to non-state armed groups. Those last 2 points are worth underlining because militia groups battle for power in the region and they control large swaths of land. The group M23 is one of the region's most prominent militias. It's battling to control mining, one of the most critical minerals in the world right now, which is cobalt, a major component in lithium-ion batteries and in almost every rechargeable electronic device that you own. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is said to produce 2/3 of the world's cobalt. Now, notably, you did not see militias in the room when the foreign ministers signed Friday's peace deal. Someone that you did see, Masad Boulos. Masad Boulos is the father-in-law of Tiffany Trump, President Trump's youngest daughter. Boulos is a billionaire. He serves as senior advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs to President Trump. The president credits him for brokering this peace deal, which apparently will come with a huge money-making opportunity for the United States.
Not only that, we're getting for the United States a lot of the mineral rights from the Congo as part of it.
Mineral rights for the U.S.? Let's talk about this with CNN's Larry Madowo, who's in Nairobi, who covers this region extensively. Larry, thanks for joining us. So mineral rights for the U.S. was not specifically mentioned in the peace deal signed Friday. So do we know how Trump's announcement about that came to be?
It's not clear exactly how this came to be. President Trump did say that because Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, and the two foreign ministers did not mention it at all. I've scrutinized the peace agreement signed, and it mentioned the word minerals 4 times. Under the section titled Regional Economic Integration Framework, which is part of this deal, it says this: the parties shall use this framework to expand foreign trade and investment derived from regional critical mineral supply chains and introduce greater transparency. So what President Trump is alluding to here is that the U.S. will get to benefit from the rich mineral deposits in the DRC. And this has already received a lot of criticism in the Congo and on the wider African continent for many people who see this as another example of a Western nation exploiting the resources of an African country without actually getting involved or benefiting the people that are down there. So a lot of questions that the Rwandans and the Congolese have not so far answered, Jake.
So give us a sense of how popular Congolese cobalt is. What other nations or companies, for that matter, rely on this region and its resources?
It's a shorter list, Jake, to say which country or which company does not rely on the minerals from this part of the country. So one of the root causes of this conflict is about those minerals. In fact, one of the accusations the DRC places against Rwanda is that the minerals are smuggled from DRC through to Rwanda and exported as Rwandan minerals. I asked President Kagame that, he denied it. But the DRC has also in the last few years been suing major tech companies for using children in the mining process and for exploiting conflict minerals. In fact, the DRC has sued major tech companies in French and Belgian and even American courts. They've gone after Apple, after Tesla, after Google company Alphabet, after Dell, and after Microsoft. Unsuccessfully so far. They've not been able to get any judge to agree with them that these companies are involved and should be for that, but they're trying. The argument here being these companies say they use other suppliers. They're not directly involved, so these are not their employees.